Hey, you guys, and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a drop in, but sometimes the shortest of videos are just just as jam packed basically as the big ones. So, this is a really good message, and I hope it finds you well. Understanding your healing energy. And I wanted to make this video, you guys. Let me close my door. Yes, so I wanted to make this video, you guys, so that no one's feeling continued or will be continuing to be exploited for their healing energy, or you're not confused by the dynamics that may be playing out in your life because you have healing energy. Because when you have healing energy, you are a healer, whether you want to be or not. You're a healer, honey. And these are usually survivors and thrivers and people who have earned their stripes. People have come up against you for nothing that you did. And when you get to a certain mastery of level after so many attacks, like these are the all my life I've had to fight group of people here that I'm talking to. It wasn't for nothing. This refinement, these dark night of the soul type of experiences that you've had, you're inside of God's classroom. And he has, big plans for you. And he needs to sharpen you. He needs to increase the type of armor that you have. Imagine you're going into a battle and it's like the Stone Age and you just have something very flimsy. How are you going to go up against certain attacks? So, you might not like the methodology of it all, but sometimes you go through a lot of stuff because he needs to get you stronger so that he can use that healing energy. So you'll be prepared for that ultimate use of that healing energy and all the usages that he's doing along the way. Okay. So you guys are emotionally mature, and this is a beautiful thing in a world full of people who aren't emotionally mature. You're basically like the tortoise who went slow enough to catch everything along the way on the race. So you're a teacher. Healers are teachers. And as so, God will send you students. Okay. You're going to get sent students on your journey. And, God gives everybody free wills. And God's going to send people, and the devil's going to send people to your classroom. And your classroom could just be, your space in the universe. And but God is sending people for different reasons to your classroom, and so is the devil. But there's going to be lessons coming out of this situation for everybody involved. When God sends people to your classroom, it's for you to help sharpen them, because we're all getting used for our energy in some shape, form, or fashion. Now, those people can take the invitation and learn and grow from you, or they can be jealous and envious and fight. They can flunk the class. Sometimes people get to take your class again, and sometimes that's just it. And maybe God will send them another energy, or the devil will send them an energy, shoot. But either way, they'll either get kicked out of your classroom or they can graduate in a good way and learn something from you. Now, when the devil is sending people to your classroom, you can look at this as like a college campus professor sleeping with a student. He's just trying to get you. He's not sending a student there to learn any lessons from you. He's sending you to distract you from being the teacher of others, from, distract your healing energy from actually doing healing, because the people he's sending ain't seeking the healing. They're going to reject it. They're going to deflect it and project on you a whole bunch of bullshit and try to drain you of the healing energy so that you can't fulfill these purposes. So, when you have to think about it. Who wouldn't want to go to the best doctor? If you are a sick person, even subconsciously, like some of these unhealed people that you're attracting, they don't know why their soul is gravitating, but consciously they're determined to fight against it for whatever reason, you know. But when you have this healing energy, you're going to attract sick people, basically. So you're going to have to learn how to sift through this to figure out what's your assignment and what's not, you know, because the worst thing that you want to do is take on a patient, so to speak, that, you know, end up being the worst thing you ever did in your life, you know. So it's important, you guys, to understand that healers, you know, our life really isn't solely about our happiness. And I don't think anybody's life is about their happiness, because there's a purpose for everything. And it's not just centered around you being happy all the time, or else we would just all have happy experiences. You know, life is a lot more purposeful than that. And hey, Cherry 48196. You have missions here, and you need to determine what those missions are and where God may want to plant you or use you for a season to help, you know, elevate the consciousness of this earth, because that's a good life lived, you know. I seen Matumbo, the basketball player, 7'2". I can't stop picturing him with his fingers in the air, like when he's defensively blocking someone's ball. But he passed away, and it's things that I learned about him today. This man was a light worker. I mean, I knew he had a very nice personality and a light soul, but he literally took his money and built a $26 million hospital somewhere in Africa with like 128 beds. And like, he did a lot of humanitarian things, you know. And I was really, really, I was like, wow, that was awesome. I was blown away with that. Like, he did a lot, you know. He took the resources that he was given, and he used a lot of it to really help the world out. And that's a beautiful thing. And, you know, I think a life worth lived is when you have healing energy, when you're a teacher, you have a legacy, you're going to touch a lot of people, you know. Don't worry about the ones that the devil sent, the antagonists, people that are just there to distract you and try to manipulate you, exploit you, or deter you, or end you, honestly, or even come up against your legacy, because ultimately the devil is always beneath God anyway. He is. And everything he does, like I've said a few live chats ago, it's all an invitation. So you can't take the wrong invitations in life. And if you feel like you started to take the wrong invitation, you know, get that exit door wherever you can. Like, don't just keep continuing in ignorance because you know better. Because, you know, people will try to trick you. But it's important to just understand, when you have a healing energy, you're going to attract massive amount of narcissists. I'm saying all of this to basically say that. You're going to attract a lot of narcissists into your life. So the more that you understand this, you don't have to get frustrated over it anymore. You can just, you know, understand what comes with the territory. That's just like a rich person attracting a bunch of poor people, you know? These things happen. They have a need, and they see you have a lot of what they want. But why do they want it? What are their intentions? You know, all of these things are going to matter. But some things are just is what it is. And that's why we're increasing our emotional maturity, because there's nothing to do really to stop it. You can just stop their penetration on your life, but stopping them from coming to you, that's just going to happen. We just have to learn how to see it and do what we have to do. All right. So if you are a healer, you know, it's not exactly an easy life, but it becomes easier when you know better and choose to do better. It becomes easier when you're increasing that emotional maturity. You'll see these things from a mile away. And by a certain point, you've gone through so much stuff that you're just not even moved anymore. Like, people, you know, people have tried. I'll use myself for an example. People have really tried to get under my skin. They see the type of work that I do, and they want to see, can I get this person out of their character? Can I get them riled up? Can I get them to, no, you can't. You can't, because it's sincere. Like, I'm not pretending on this channel. Like, the stuff that I'm telling you guys, I actually use it in my own life. Like, this is how I am. So you can't get me to be anything other than me, you know, point blank, period. Like, and some things are just so beneath me, even with grown adults. Like, it could be a 7-year-old person behaving this way, and I'm literally seeing them as a 2-year-old. So how am I going to respond to a 2-year-old? I'm not even responding to you like I would an adult, you know? So it's like, and they'll give it their best shot. They will give it their best shot to rattle you. But, you know, if you have emotional maturity, you have it. Either you have it or you don't. And the more of it you have, the less people can even attempt to do any of this stuff. So if you have healing energy and you don't even recognize that you do have this healing energy, you know, first of all, people will be stealing it without you even knowing it. You know, because I told you, I think like maybe a couple lives ago, that the enemy's trick is to convince you that you aren't valuable and that you aren't even having this healing energy. You know, meanwhile, they're being energy vampires with you. So you have to recognize and come into awareness that you do have the healing energy, which is going to make you a teacher for sure in this world. So, and that's a big responsibility. It is. So God's going to teach you a lot of stuff, and then he will start allowing you to be the teacher as well. All right. But you'll be equipped because he doesn't give you more than you can handle. He doesn't. We just have to make the right decisions and accept the right invitations and decline the wrong ones. All right, you guys. So I hope everybody is well. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's very rewarding, honestly, that God would even choose you to do this. Okay. And the satisfaction that you'll feel on the inside, because nothing was in vain. You'll find out nothing was in vain. Not one experience, no matter how horrific or, you know, devastating and betraying it was, none of it was a mess. Because it's all going to end up being lemons to lemonade for you if you allow it to be. All right. So just be careful. Be careful if you're a healer that, you know, you're not being exploited. And hopefully on a channel like this, you're not confused about it. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to add to this? Feel free. I'll keep the live up. You guys know that I use live chats because it's just easier in my lifestyle. It's a lot easier. So this would have normally been like a quick video that I probably would have had to edit and all types of things, but it's all good. This is much, much easier. Yeah. It's great, you know, and think about your legacy, you know. There's been so many deaths lately, and it's good to think about your legacy. Like, how will people know that you were here? And it's not, of course, about who can donate the most money. It could be all types of things, you know, all types of things. All right. And we've had some really good live chats, you guys. If you've been missing any of them, go back and check them out. They're very good. They're very good information. All right. Well, I don't see anything, and I've pretty much gotten to my point. You know, I know people who may have like 3 points to make, and they will stretch a live 5 hours. I'm like, wow, that's really great. I'm too blunt and straight to the point to be doing that. All right, you guys, I love you, and take care of yourself, you know. And also, I'll just add this in real quick. Make sure that you are, you know, taking care of yourself when you have the healing energy, because that means you're sharing yourself with others, you know, even if you're sharing yourself with the people that you're supposed to. revitalizing yourself, revamping, staying rested. Your self-care is even more important at that point, because God isn't just putting you necessarily making you responsible for yourself. He's actually, giving you some additional tasks to do. So that means that you'll have to take care of yourself that much more. And then not only will you feel energized, but he'll be able to use you for a longer time, Health is really your wealth. You can imagine, the most healthiest person that's a healer, he can use you into your 90s, But, his time is his time for you anyway. So I'll just say that, because all energies deserve to rest from this three-dimensional. That's why I did feel sad for Michael Jackson when he passed away, but just think of people like that, how much he packed into his 50 years of life. Like, it probably felt like he lived 100 years. This is somebody that was working from the age of 9, 8, 7, perhaps, and been all over the world about 50 million trillion times. Then he had all the philanthropy and humanitarian stuff he was doing. And then, of course, just like all healers, a lot of people coming up and attacking him. He went through a lot. Like that, those cases going in and out of the courtroom, you see how it drained him? But he needed some help. I do believe he needed some help, because after a while, it's like, if you keep behaving this way, they're going to keep doing this to you, And I think that was a part of him not having a proper childhood and needing psychological help for that. But nonetheless, just seeing him in the "This Is It" video, like, his soul was ready to rest. I felt like it. Like, I could see it. His voice was completely intact. Like, he sounded amazing, but his body was tired. So, some people have quicker lives, and that's what it is. My mother, she got pregnant with me at 13. She literally had 3 kids by the age of 21. Yeah. And she passed away at 22. Like, her life was short, and she did a lot in that time that she was here. Like, sometimes it's just like that. And then sometimes it's long. Look at one of my favorite actresses, Cicely Tyson. Beautiful, amazing. God used her for a long time, Like, everybody has their assignments and the length of times that God is going to do it. But, when people live that long as Cicely Tyson, and who just passed away a couple of weeks ago, he's like a voice. His voice is just like, I think he did AT&T for years on end. Goodness, why can't I think of his names right now? It'll come to me after the live chat. But yeah, I believe he was in his 90s as well. Like, they deserve to rest. People deserve to rest from this world. Like, they paid their dues, honey. They paid their dues. But yeah, just make sure you're taking care of yourself as a healer and a teacher, and learning how to not be a sponge to the people that you're helping. I've had to learn that on this channel, talking to so many people. To observe and not absorb. That's how I put it. Observing, not absorbing. Because empaths, you absorb it, then you start taking on the energy that you're around, and you're wondering why you start feeling some type of way. It's because you're absorbing. Observe, don't absorb. You can still help them without absorbing it, So, and then sometimes the help isn't just coming from you personally. It might be you referring them to someone else, Oh, that's a confirmation. I don't even know what type of confirmation that is. I never heard that sound on my phone. But either way, yeah, sometimes it's referring them to someone else, and other resources. Is not always tapping into your resources. So, newbies in the healing game, new teachers and all that, sometimes we think it has to come from our resources or from, no, sometimes it's referring them to a nonprofit. It's referring them to another organization, or it's referring them to someone else that's would be better to help. So just, making sure you're not overextending in the wrong way. And maybe you were supposed to just guide them to to another source. You would be the bridge or the referral, if you will. Yeah. So, all right, you guys, those are just, I'm a vessel just like you guys. And sometimes I think I'm done saying something and God says, no, say this too, and I have to make sure I say it if I catch it before I go off. I hate it like when I go off and he says something, I'm like, God darn it. But, nobody's perfect. But I'll always try, you guys, to tell you everything I could think of because I'm channeling as well. All right. I love you guys, especially the healers and the teachers. You guys have a special purpose on this world. You have no idea. Your energy is a beautiful thing and much needed on the planet. All right. So know how special you are and, take care of that. Stay connected to God and you're going to be okay. I'll see you guys in the next live. Okay. Take care.